Hello, everybody. It's Kimberly here, and welcome to it. It's another Sunday of messages from Spirit coming through me. A couple housekeeping rules, though, or housekeeping messages, I should say, not rules, because there's really no rules here. I'm praying that the audio works. I'm struggling with the audio for some reason today. Something must be in retrograde. I don't even know, but here's hoping that the audio sounds better than the last video that I did last week. And again, I am at Bounce Right Back Massage, if a therapy clinic, if you would like your own personal intuitive coaching session. People call them readings. I do in person if you're in the YEG area. And I also do virtual if you're not in the YEG area. So if you would like to book a personal intuitive coaching with me, you can go to bouncerightbackmassage.com and you can book it there. I am having a deal. It's been going since February 10th. In person, there's a discount for in person. So if you are in the YEG area and you would like to have a coaching with me at a discounted rate, that is going to be over on April 10th. And so there's still time to get in there because we're at March 16th. Tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. It might be today that I'm saying that by the time I get this video up. Also, me and the team are going to be at the YEG Wellness Market at the Creative Hive on April 12th and 13th between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So there's going to be free chair massages. There's going to be our acupuncturist is going to put ear seeds in the ears to let people experience the ear seeds. They're amazing, actually. If you guys have ever had ear seeds, they do wonders. And I will be giving free mini readings and coaching. So if you're in the YEG area and you're not doing anything on April 12th and 13th, come on by and we'd love to meet you. Like to connect with you. As always, we're open to it. Um, yeah, so I was walking the dog this morning and was hanging out with Paul, and his energy for some reason is really, really speedy and really, really fast. So I might be talking fast today. There's like a lot of information that was coming through, and I'm hoping I remember it. I did write down some notes, and I'm hoping he can coach me through that today. But he did remind me of something. As always, on Sundays, I started going to a spiritualist church. And so I just really go there for the community and the energy because they do like a meditation in the beginning with some Reiki healing. And so I really like to sit in that. And he reminded me of something that I hold very dear, but I haven't kind of thought about in a couple of weeks since it happened. And since I've been working with Paul, no other medium has been able to connect with him, and I find it like I have trust issues too about what I do, and so sometimes it's nice for validation, but I never really receive validation. And you guys who have connected with me for a while know about the penny that he left me, but it's always nice to like get validation about the spirits that you talk to. And so at the end of the church service, there's a mediumship demonstration, and this medium connected extremely well to Paul, and nobody else was like understanding what she was saying. But then Ireland was sitting beside me, and she's like, "That's Paul," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's Paul," and it was just like a really great thing to have that validated for me. And at the end of his message, she looked at me and she's like, "You will keep, spreading his message, right? Because he counts on you to spread his messages." And I said, "Of course, of course, of course. I will, as much as I can, be able to do that for Paul." An amazing spirit. I mean, if you guys have ever connected with his energy, he's just like really, really amazing. But friggin', he almost put her on the floor. Like his energy was just like spinning out, and she was almost on the floor with it. So I found that quite funny. And she nailed like how I see him. Sometimes he's sitting and his foot just keeps going. And sometimes I tease him like, "You got somewhere else to be, Paul?" And he's like, "No, no." But his energy, like it's always like there's always so much energy with him. And she picked up on that. So that was really cool. And he just reminded me of that in church. And he also reminded me that, like back years ago, before I started doing like the channeling books, the Talking with Ghost series, I did fiction work. And right around the time that I met Paul, I did this, I was just starting this book, Out of the Woods, and it was supposed to be like a series, but I never really got past the first book because like things just happen. And and yeah, he's reminding me that I haven't written the second book because it hasn't been the time to do that, because in that book is messages of the present moment. And for me to continue that series, there has to be like a few more years before I can pull the information out of that present time into this book. Uh, but in this book, Out of the Woods, there's a man who goes hiking and he comes into contact with the veil. So there's a veil between worlds. And I wrote notes, so I'm just going to look to the side here. Um, and at the moment when I was writing it, I was like, it was just a cool concept. Like you have to break through this veil to get to this other kind of dimension of this world. Um, to get through that veil though, it was very much like very tough, very like kind of rubbery. Like I can feel it now when I wrote about it. It's like very rubbery, very tough, very thick, like molasses to get through. And yeah, and he's saying like the energy of today, you know, he's saying that people have been like inundating themselves with messages about how things are going to start moving, and the whole like since January, the polls are shifted. I don't know. They're so excited about the times moving forward that they don't understand why the energy is still feeling so slow and so thick. And when we were connecting this morning, he was saying that it's almost like people are trying to run through like water. He's like, okay, he says when he was running into the ocean, especially like below the knee, it would be difficult to run through the water really quickly. It was very slow because the water was holding him back a little bit. And yeah, he's like, people are in this process of trying to run through like very dense liquid that's keeping the momentum kind of like slow, and that's kind of what that veil was like in the book he was reminding me of. The veil is, people are like kind of trying to push through it, trying to push through the boundary of that, but it's just very thick and very almost like trying to bust through like cling wrap, he's saying. um so he was saying that right now the veil that people are trying to pierce or break through is the light. Okay, he's saying that he's showing me that we've always sort of existed in the light. Of course, we have. There was always like this balance of light and dark, but the light was kind of growing. But right now, the energy of the planet is we're going into another spectrum of light. And so there's like yet another veil to pierce. So we're taking what we know to be our personal truths and taking that and trying to pierce into another like level, if you want to call it that. And because we're not exactly used to the new vibration, the new energy that we're trying to pierce through, it's taking its sweet ass time, and we feel like we're just like trying to go and we're trying to move forward, but something is just holding us back. But come May, June, this energy is going to pick up. So it's almost like he's like, pretend it's the hot springs and literally just sit in where the energy is trying to keep you. He's like, thank you. He's like, people are so much in a hurry to connect with the new, the new, the new. They haven't exactly connected fully with what they're living in the present right now. And so they're in such a hurry to pierce through this new part of this veil that it's just, there's more blockages than what's necessary. Um, Okay, he's like also this new energy that people are trying to bust through. He says bust through, um, is more about coming into the most authentic version of yourself that you have ever been. And okay, thank you. He's like, the issue that arises with breaking into the most authentic version of yourself is that people aren't going to understand. And then there's going to be like, there's a little bit of conflict happening because people have pierced through that veil. They have become their authentic self. They've said, like, absolutely 100% no more am I taking this bullshit anymore. And they've pierced through this veil as their authentic self. Can I get a number? Okay, he's saying like 10 to 12% of people have broken through this other dimension of veil. The others, if you want, he's like, if you want to break past this veil of authenticity, you really have to deal with what you haven't been authentic about in the past. And people don't like to look at that. He's saying, not even the past is the past, but right now, whatever people are not practicing authenticity for or about, he's like, there's no way that you're going to be able to pierce into that new aspect of the light spectrum that's now here on Earth until you get through what you have to be authentic about in this present moment. Okay, okay. He's saying people have absolutely not come to terms with the truth of, or the truth of the definition of being their authentic self. Okay, he's like, if he put a hard stop on social media and like the TikTok and stuff, and he's like, he says, don't get me wrong. He's speaking in my ear. He's like, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of authentic people on those social media platforms. But in general, he's like, if he could just take away all of that stuff, social media, people would have no choice but to really, he's like, he's saying, get down and dirty with who they truly are. And once you get down and dirty, because if you connect to who you truly are, some of that stuff is down and dirty and it doesn't necessarily feel good and it doesn't really go okay all the time. It's not that smooth. That's the only time you're going to be able to pierce through this veil. Um, okay, he's saying if a person took 7 days off of social media, TikTok, Instagram Reels, and stuff, 7 days, 7 days, it would be all it would take for you to get in touch with that authentic, sovereign I am again, kind of reconnecting, reuniting with that I am presence. And then you could literally, okay, he's like, there's would be a little bit of toughness, a little bit of, getting caught in like a spider web with that veil piercing, but he said you would be able to manage to get through the spider web of the veil and come, he's saying come full circle into the new spectrum of energy, into the new spectrum of vibration that people are really feeling right now. They want it. He's like, they want it really, really bad, but if you're not going to get real with yourself in this present moment and what you need and what you have and what you've done and what you can forgive, there's no way you're going to get through that spider web of that veil. He's changing, he's like spider web, because spider webs, especially in the springtime, do you ever know when you like walk through a spider web or something and it's sticky and you can feel it on your face and stuff? He's like, that's absolutely what it is, but think of it like 1,000 times thicker. So it's going to hold you back, right? Um, okay, Okay, so he's saying this like the dream catchers, where it's like woven, the string is woven, kind of like a spider web where it traps the bad dreams and lets the good dreams go. I think that's how it goes. I can't. Okay, he says for all intents and purposes, we're going to look at like that. We're going to look at it like that. We're going to trap all the bad stuff into this web, and then we're going to let the good stuff go through. That's kind of like the scenario that's going on right now, probably until June, is like there's this huge giant spider web around people, and they're done with this old way of living, this old way of being, because it's not authentic, and they're trying to break through that spider web. So once they once they walk through that spider web, all that stuff, once they start being authentic with themselves, all that stuff is going to be trapped in that web, that veil, and the purest of the pure is going to be able to walk through into that new spectrum of light. This spectrum of light has only been on this planet probably since, he's saying, January 23rd. This really new intense spectrum of light that people are trying to get to because it's addictive. It's like, he's like a moth to a flame. They're done with the dark because that used to be the light, but now it's become shadowy and dark and a cloudy day. And now it's like, oh, there's this bright over here. There's this tunnel of light over here. And he's like, it's like a moth to a flame. And they want it, right? They want it. But they got to finish with the shadow work that they've been on the journey with. Um, so, and that actually makes sense because he's reminding me that he was talking to me this morning about Han Solo. And when he was, I wrote it down, he's entombed in carbonite. Okay, he's like, there's a few people out there who are stuck. They're feeling very stuck. So it's almost like they're frozen in place and they don't know how to get out of that. And it's like, he's like, he says, I love the Star Wars movies. So I'm going to use Han Solo. He wanted Han Solo. He wanted to play Han Solo. But he said he was too young for it. So Luke Skywalker, he's like, Luke Skywalker was the one that I was trying to get. In the new one, yeah. Okay. So he's like, Han Solo was entombed in the carbonite, and that's how, like, there's a few people that are just feeling like frozen and entombed in that carbonite, and they're waiting for something to thaw them out so they can continue the journey. The reason why he's saying they're frozen in the carbonite, oh boy, this is getting okay. A, their body is fighting becoming more crystalline in nature, and it's freezing them in a place that is recognizable. Um, but also the carbonite, you're frozen in a certain way of being, in a certain, like a holding stance, he's saying. And so when you're frozen in that, you have not gotten in touch, he's saying, with the spark of life within your soul that will warm that, grow that, spread that throughout your body so that you can become mobile and flexible and continue through the spider web that is the new veil. Okay, thank you. He's like, it's not so much about the veil lifting. He's like, the old idea of the veil lifting is kind of an older part of that older energy that's kind of dying away. Um, okay, thank you. So the matrix is not like a curtain, he's saying. The matrix is like a dream catcher, a spider web. Okay, he's saying for some it even looks like a veil of mist. Okay. So when Avalon existed, and we do believe, he's saying we do believe that Avalon existed, it still exists today, but it's trapped in the mist to protect itself, right? So when people try to travel through the mist, he's saying, and people are trying to travel through the mist and the fog, they're getting lost. And the direction, the compass is spinning, 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 because there's no direction in there because they forgot. He says they forgot the lantern at home, the lantern to light the way. And he's saying the light of the lantern is the spark in the soul, that creative spark, that spark of I am. They were so excited to get on this journey through the mist that they forgot their lantern, their light of themselves back in where they were actually meant to grow it. And so they're getting lost in this mist, and there's like no direction there. So really, it's kind of like, for people who are being lost in the mist, he's showing me that it's more like a two-step back, one step forward until they are actually, handed a light. He's saying, okay, he's like, I have been called in so much with people, and he says he loves it. He loves absolutely getting in the car, he's showing me he's getting the keys, he's getting in the car, he's going back to somebody's house, picking up what they forgot and bringing it to them. Um, He says, there are so many tents and he's like RVs and um, he's just basically showing me a campsite in this fog and people are just waiting for him to deliver some sort of recognition of their own light so that they can proceed through the mist and through the fog towards this new, he's like, energetic signature on the planet now. Okay, he says this new energetic signature that has been on the planet since January 23rd is meant for everybody. Um, he's saying that there are some people, and again, I have to make sure that I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording. I always forget. I have brain farts. Um, okay, there's been some information out there that not everybody is worthy of going into the new energy. Not everybody is going to go into this new energy. He's like, too late. The energy's here. You're already in it. So this whole like hierarchy system or this whole like them versus me system, he's like, that's out, that's out. That's totally not even relevant anymore. He's like, everybody is meant to step into this new energy. The response when stepping into the new energy is going to be different for everybody. And some people, when their response, when they feel this new energy, when they break through that spider web, is like, too hot, too hot. So they're going to step back, jump out, right? It's like it really is soaking into new, warmer waters. So you're used to the temperature of these waters, he's saying, but then you go into like the hotter water and it's going to take some time to adjust. And some people just can't take it and they step back and they step back into the old. And he's like, that's fine. That's totally fine because eventually everybody's going to be on the same page. Everybody's going to be through the veil. Everybody is. So it's not only for one group of people and this group of people is shit out of luck, he's saying. He's like, remember, all of this growth, all of this evolution is for everybody and not just a singular group of people who think, they're spiritual or they have connection with spirit or whatever. Everybody is part of this huge, big group. It's like humanity is a group. Okay. He's also saying that the conflict that we're seeing so much now is because people have crossed or are in, he's like, you just don't cross from one side to the other in an instant. You literally, it's kind of like a work in progress. But some people are through more to the other side than others, but that's creating like a lot of conflict. And you can see it in like in the littlest thing, like so the one-on-one relationships, and then you can see it in he's like in the groups, like in work environments, you can see it. So there's almost like cliques at work, cliques like in high school, popular versus unpopular, and that is just growing and growing and growing. But he's into politics. He's saying into religion. Um, okay, so he's saying the idea of popular versus unpopular. These people are popular. These people get the more likes. These people, blah, blah, blah. He's saying that is really, really going to intensify until about June. And then the people who negated this other group thinking that they were unpopular, like a high school club is like unpopular crowd, they're going to look back and be like, oh shit, why am I here by myself? Well, the unpopular crowd who knows what is really, really going on, they're past the veil. But he says the beautiful thing is that the ones termed unpopular are going to come back and be the guiding light and the lantern for those people who, he said, missed the boat. He's saying missed the boat. Okay. He wants to kind of change direction a little bit. And he did talk about this today in church. Okay, the first ever real person that he could say really, really done it, pierce that veil and be a way shower for people was Jesus Christ. He says, in your time, it's coming up to the time of, I think, Lent or something. I don't follow it. I'm Catholic, but I can't remember when it starts, but Lent and then Easter, right? Okay. And he's saying Jesus has told Kim this before. And the message is he can't accentuate it enough or bold it enough or italicize it enough or caps lock it like enough. Okay, so Jesus told me, thank you. Jesus told me when I talked to him a while ago, he said, people are so, did I talk to him or was it you? Okay, we were both there. Okay. People are so focused on his death that they forget about his rise. They're so focused on things going downhill and the trauma and the in their own personal crucifixions. They're so focused on what's not going right, what's going wrong, why am I being attacked? Why does it hurt? All the negative, 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 and they're not focusing on the point, which is the rise. And he says, religion or not, he's like, concentrate on your rise. He says, do not concentrate on your crucifixion because everybody, okay, he says, dark night of the soul is actually like the crucifixion. So he's like, everybody is so like, F me, arf me. I'm going through it. I can't seem to get out of this. I'm dying on this hill, being crucified, crucified, crucified. I'm dying on other people's hills and being crucified on their crosses, blah, blah, blah. But if we turned our perception towards the rise, he said the crucifixion was just an event. It was the rise that actually turned a corner on earth. Um, so he's like, especially in this season, he's like, Kim's channeling me kind of in the season of like Christianity, the Easter season almost approaching. He's like, what is it going to take? What do I have to tell you to get you to stop focusing on the darkness, on the chaos, on the crucifixion, on the deaths, and deaths, he's saying metaphorical deaths, okay? Dark night of the soul. Um, and to concentrate on that light at the end of the tunnels, that's hope. That's the goal. That's peace. That's love. That's the current hippie situation that people think is just so like unicorn poop. He's like, what can I get you guys to do? What can I say to get you guys to concentrate on your rise, on your phoenix rising, aka resurrection? He's like, if anything, just got a text. If anything, if he could make people aware that the dark night of the soul, the metaphorical deaths, people, the transformations, they're only a small, small part. He's like, I get it. They feel so intense and so heartbreaking and so like, who is going to pick me up from this floor? And he gets it and he's there for it. And he says, I will pick you up off the floor. And I don't even need you to owe me anything. I don't need you to praise any name. He says, I will pick you up off that floor. The one condition he wants, though, is that if I pick you up off that floor, will you look to the horizon at the sunrise? Right? Will you look to the horizon? Because that's where the veil is busting out. He's like, so he's like, in this season, he's like, I'm switching gears really fast on Kim, but he's like, in this season of the Easter season of the crucifixion and the resurrection, can we concentrate more of our energy on the resurrection and kind of acknowledge the crucifixion? However, the crucifixion was one moment where the resurrection is for eternity. Because he's like, that is where people are going right now, regardless of what is going on around you, what you see in your personal lives, on a global level, on a country level. The resurrection, he's like, is already here. It's just people are so stuck in that, in looking at the shadow aspects of the chaos of the crucifixion, that they don't really recognize that it is here. So he's like, he says, you've been doing the work. He said, you've been hitting all the goals. Everything is on time. He's like, actually everything is kind of going to be early to the party. um he's like, I give it to you. He's like, I give it to you. I celebrate you guys. My whole team here celebrates you guys, and we're here for it. You guys are right on time. The intensity is what's making it feel like molasses. Like this energy is so thick and so hard to walk through. He's like, I get it. It's hard. It's a marathon. You guys are so tired. He says, you guys are so tired. He says, the amount, okay, thank you. He's like, the amount of loss that you guys have been feeling, the amount of up in the air, the amount of carrots dangling and then being ripped away. He's like, it has not been a good time for you guys. He says, but I'm here for it. Holy crap. What is going on? He's like, I'm here for it. I will be here for it. And whatever I can do to ease that for you, he says, I'll do it. Me and my team will do it. So, yeah, that is our message for today. He says he doesn't want to go on for 45 minutes like Anton and the nurse did because people have things to do. So, this is just a quick video for you guys. Again, if you want a personal intuitive coaching session with me, some people call it reading. I don't really like to call it reading. Yeah, hit me up. I would love to. Oh, okay. He says, let's pull a card for fun. Okay, so I'm going to get my cards and I'll be right back. He's like, I really like how Anton pulled the card. So let's pull a card. And he's like, I'm making Kim use a deck that she's not used to. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let's pull a card. Talking about veils. So we're going to see what's going on in the universe in this now moment. Bear with me while I shuffle the deck. You guys can hear it. Yeah, so the veils, man. Okay, he's like, saltwater baths will make it better. Saltwater baths will make it better. If you can't do a saltwater bath, or if you can't dip your toes into the ocean, he's saying, just do a salt scrub. It'll make it all better. Ooh, okay. You're such a shit. Okay. All right. So, Bright Star, Canopus Guidance. It's a ship. Okay. I'm wondering if it'll focus. I don't know if it'll focus. Can you focus? Okay, so it's number 44, which pretty much is like loved ones in heaven. They got you, which is, he's saying, I got you. I got you. He's like, this is the light that everybody's going to. He's like, this is the ship. He's like, this card, he says, I don't even know if it's going to focus. He's like, this is the Six of Swords. This is the Six of Swords. It's just showing it from the other direction. So the woman and child is facing that light. So we are being brought out of the storms and into calmer waters and into this horizon, which is the light. 44, guidance, stability. 8, 4 plus 4 is 8, infinite, abundance, all of that stuff. We're riding the wave. He's like, we're riding the wave towards that. And it's so beautiful. He's like, see how, yeah, he pulled a really good card. Yeah, coming out of the stormy seas into calmer seas. The horizon is near. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Okay. This card, and I know it's not the serious card in the deck, like the dog star, uh, but this is actually reminding me of Sirius. Jesus is from Sirius, is he not? Yeah, okay. So that's just another synchronicity that I'm kind of getting from the card is that this has been done and we've always been heroes of our own stories. Okay, Paul's saying Jesus was just an example of a hero of his own story. He was just an example of how intense it could be, of how traumatic it can be. And, he's Paul's like, I honor that for everybody. I honor what you're going through. It has not been easy, but there's always the light at the end of the tunnel. We're always going to find ourselves going into calmer waters. And the Six of Swords, right? Like the boat in the Six of Swords is being guided by a guide, a spirit guide. Our spiritual team is absolutely going to bring us into calmer waters. The message that I gave in church today was that because Richard asked us, all of us, what spirituality means to us. And I said, it's daily leaps of faith and it's daily moments of surrender to something that has our backs. We're absolutely taken care of. And, those people who, do the readings on social media and do the YouTube videos and all this stuff, they are messengers because they want everybody to know that we are so well taken care of. Heaven's got our back. Paul's got our back. Everybody's got our back. Jesus has our back. John has our back. Everybody has our back because they see that we're pushing through it and we're getting to yet another dimension. He's saying dimension of light on this planet, which is something huge to celebrate. So if you don't eat sugar, he says, I don't care. He says, get those chocolate eggs out and enjoy and gift yourself and pat yourself on the back and tell yourself, you are a winner. You're a winner. And things are happening for a reason and lessons are being learned, but we're learning them and we're becoming wise and we're pushing through that spider web and we're doing it. And this is your hurrah for being that hero in your life. No matter the circumstances, you are the hero of your life. You are the phoenix rising. You are what you have been waiting for. And you're doing it. And, me and Paul just want to, give you absolute hugs, 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 so much love because you are the heroes of this huge story. He's like, everything's going to come out. That's what the chaos is. Everything is coming out to be looked at, seen, forgiven, transformed, resurrected, and paradise. He says, paradise isn't a place. He says, it's a feeling. And you guys are walking hand in hand into that feeling of paradise. And he says, it's so cool to see. He says, it's so cool for me to see that. So, with that, I'm going to say goodbye because apparently I have a start of a busy afternoon. So, thank you, Paul. He says, thank you, Kim. And yeah, if you're in the Edmonton area, we'll see you April 12th and 13th at the Wellness Show. And can't wait to meet you. And until next time, take care. And you're doing it. And I love you. And we'll chat soon.